So tonight we're going to be looking at the Friday night service, otherwise known as the Kabbalat Shabbat service. Kabbalat Shabbat, as it's commonly referred to. Oh, Alan's here. Oh, good. Kabbalat Shabbat actually is so it means the receiving of Shabbat, right? Kabbalah we know is receiving, and so Kabbalat Shabbat is the receiving of Shabbat. But that's only half of the service. The Kabbalat Shabbat service is actually a service of two parts. We have the Kabbalat Shabbat service, which is the beginning all the way through, like the Psalms and the candle lighting and the Psalms and Lecha Dodi, and then it enters into the regular nightly Mariv service. So just to explain the structure of this service, I felt it was important to tell you. If you have your SIDDUR, that's the Mariv service, which is the like regular night service with the Shema and the Baruch Hu and all of that. If you have your SIDDUR, that's great. And if not, I have the PDF version. We're not going to look at it right now, but I just want to make sure that everyone has it for reference a little later. So the way I like to start leading a service is to think of the intention that I have for the service. So I'd like for us to begin, I'm just going to put this SIDDUR in the chat. I'd like for us to begin by thinking about if we were crafting a Shabbat service, which we are, what are some themes or images or intentions or desires that you would want to fulfill for the person who's praying with you, that you would want to transmit, that you would want to communicate or create? Alice.
That you are permeated with peace.
Nice. I'm writing these down so that we keep them in mind. What else have you experienced when you went to a Shabbat service and associate with Shabbat? Helene.
How grateful I am for the day that I'm here and thanking God for the blessing of that day and every day.
Thank you. Beautiful, Helene.
My heart goes out to God.
I really feel that, Helene. Thank you for speaking your truth out loud. Alan.
The separation of Shabbat from the week that starts with a Friday service.
Great.
Which I can feel almost as a physical transition, especially if it's in person.
Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. What else? Well, we have a lot. We have be permeated with a sense of peace, gratitude, thankfulness to God, separation of Shabbat from the week. That's a lot of intention.
And Helene said, "My heart goes out to God."
My heart.
I loved that line. And Shira's raising her.
Oh, good, Shira.
Thank you. Yeah, connection. And Helene used the word God, and I think, especially for our different ones of our members, maybe the sacred, the center of holiness within ourselves and within the inner connection to what we hold most sacred.
Beautiful. Connection to what we hold most sacred. Mark, do you have something? I know when we were planning our service, Mark, you said that you wanted joy was one of the major things that you connect to in Kabbalat Shabbat.
Yes, well, I have the feeling that putting aside our trying to make earn our living, putting that aside for some.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Okay. So Rick, if you didn't have Helene, yeah, one more, and then we'll move on.
Well, I don't want to take someone else's turn, so let Rick do it.
Oh, Rick, did you have something to say? Helene, of course you can talk again.
Well, I would just say thankfulness for the week that's
Okay.
passed.
Helene, please share.
I'm writing what he said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wrote it down too.
Remembering those that came before us and those that just passed,
Mm-hmm.
and blessing them so that they can get to heaven safely with prayer.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a hands-on approach. I'm going to put these instructions. This is a two-part exercise. So I have a wheel of fortune, and you'll be fortunate enough to land on a certain prayer. We'll divide the service, and that will be your prayer to work on for tonight. And when you get your prayer, I'm going to put all the instructions in the chat, which is going to look like a lot right now, okay? So what I suggest, and it also, when you get assigned a part, it will have the page number in the SIDDUR, so you can look at it. So these are all the instructions, and I'm just going to lay them on you. So when you get your prayer and find the page, you'll read it over, and you'll figure out what it's saying. And some questions you could ask yourself are what strikes me or interests me about it. And to figure out what state of mind does that prayer tap into. A good way to look at it is to say, okay, at the beginning of this prayer, where am I? Where is the prayer? And where do I end up? At the end. What is this prayer accomplishing for the prayer's experience and consciousness? And consider, why is this prayer in the service, maybe? So you have all these instructions written out, so you don't have to remember them. They're in the chat. And just to figure out the essence of the prayer. And then we would move on to part 2, where you consider how you could express this prayer. And this is completely open-ended. Okay? It's really important to know that when you know the essence of a prayer, you can express it in so many ways, that the ways are endless. So I put the SIDDUR in the chat. Did you get that, Alan? I think it was before you came in. Or was it? Do you have this SIDDUR? Or you have your own SIDDUR? Okay. So some of the ways to think about how you could express a prayer is to ask yourself a few questions, because these are the options that I've come up with for now, and there are more. So you could ask yourself, do I have the resources to express this in the traditional quote unquote way? Maybe there's Hebrew you have to learn, or something that you want to learn in order to do that. And I'm going to put in the chat, and I hope that maybe you'll save this. It's a link to the SIDDUR website. And they have recordings there of all the services and all the prayers in Hebrew, if you would want to learn them in that way. That's really only one option. That's skill, whatever. But anyway, I think it's a good resource. And then I'm going to also put in the chat, because if you're leading a service for Kol Halev, there's also the Kol Halev musical options, the recordings. So I'm going to put those in the chat too, for your reference. On the Kol Halev website, there's Shabbat music. And when Cantor George leads, you might notice he uses those a lot. He uses the recordings that we recorded with Shabbat Unplugged, and he sings along with them. And so that's an option that you can use. And I'm just going to list a few more options. Maybe there's another song, either from Kol Halev or elsewhere, There's also just the idea of exploring it on the internet. When you get your specific prayer and you're working on that prayer, do you want to Google it? Do you want to search YouTube and see what's out there in terms of what other people have done? And then it really comes into another level of creativity where you can maybe consider the themes that you found in your prayer. And you can ask yourself, do I know a poem, a piece of writing, maybe even non-Jewish music, anything that reminds you of these themes from your life? And then you can also ask yourself, once you've uncovered the themes of your prayer, once you know this prayer really well, you ask yourself also, do I have something personally? Helene, will you mind please muting the papers are rustling? Thank you. So do I personally have something to say about this prayer, about this theme, about these ideas? So is everyone following so far? Okay. Does anyone have any intentions before I talk about the last option that I see? Okay. So there's an idea of a kavanah, or intention. And it's important to set, I'm going to finish saying this, Alan, and then I'll call on you. So you have to also ask yourself or consider, especially for certain of the prayers, and we'll talk about them, how would you set the community or the listener up or prepare somebody who's praying to hear or pray this prayer? So there's a consideration also of a transition between the prayer before it and how you might prepare someone or help someone set an intention for what is coming up next that you'll be introducing. So I know this is a lot of information, actually. Alan, please ask your question.
Okay, yeah, wait, John.
Oh, you muted. Okay, there
Yeah.
you are.
Okay. Are you hoping or expecting us to do all of this in this rest of this time?
Yes, so we're gonna do it now. You'll see it's much easier than I've made it seem, I think. Okay.
It sounds a little overwhelming.
Okay.
But
When
for
you
anyone
actually
except
do
a
it,
superwoman like you. But anyway.
when you actually do it, you'll find, I think, that it's not as complicated as I'm making it seem. I'm just trying to lay out options. So this is our wheel of prayer. These are all the prayers. I think there's 20 something. These are all the prayers in the Kabbalat Shabbat service. So I'm going to spin them for each person, and each person will get their own prayer. And we'll work on them together also. You'll have time to work on it yourself, and if you don't know what to do, there's time to talk about it, whatever. Like, we'll figure it out. And we'll figure out how to approach each one differently. So Shira, you're first on my screen. I'm going to roll for you, okay? I'm going to spin for you. Let's see what Shira gets. Okay, Shira. So your prayer that you've received is that you are going to work on Shalom Aleichem. It's on page 13 of your SIDDUR. Congratulations, Shira. And so you can look in the chat at these steps and consider how you might want to introduce Shalom Aleichem, the welcoming of the angels. Okay? As you know, there are many options. Obviously, we have the Kol Halev song. There are probably tons of songs on the internet. And there's also just the basic intention of welcoming the angels. Maybe you want to say it in words or read a poem from the SIDDUR. So these are all, options, or just really with your own words, bless the angels, So I'm going to give you 10 minutes to be able to think about how you would maybe want to express that prayer, Shira. Okay? Is that clear? Okay.
Thank
Alice,
you.
it's your turn. Yay, Alice. I can't wait to see what you get. Okay, Alice, you have the Mi Chamocha prayer. Now it's page 79. I know you don't have that particular SIDDUR, but you have the PDF. Okay. And can Google it and whatever. But that is an awesome prayer of freedom. So enjoy, enjoy, enjoy.
you.
So excited. Rick, are you ready for your assignment? Okay. Here we go, Rick. I'm so excited. Rick, you have the Shema. Now that's page 64. You got it? Now there are so many ways to express the Shema. I would consider intention, looking at intention. Alan, you're next.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
Helene got kicked out. Here we go. Alan, yeah?
Are we reconvening after 10 minutes or so to
Yes,
go
of
over these?
course. Exactly.
we
We're
can-
going to go through the service.
So we, oh, wow. Okay. So we can like mute our, get out of the group now while we look at our prayers.
You don't need to leave the room, but you can just, you can turn your video off or whatever, but
Right. Okay.
Uh,
Thanks.
you'll just take it to have some quiet time to think about your prayer.
Right. Exactly. Thanks.
Okay, Alan, you're up. Let's see what prayer you get. I'm so excited.
Emily, you gave me Mikamoka already.
Oh, I did? No.
Yes.
That was Alice.
Oh, Alice. Oh, okay.
Oh, you said Alan.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Alan, you've received Kaddish Yatom,
Wow.
which is the mourner's cottage. So you're
Okay.
going to want to probably consider, so it's on page 128 to 131. So
Yeah.
turn to that. And you're going to want to probably consider an intention, the whole service. So not just that prayer, but how you want to introduce for people the fact that they are now saying Kaddish for their loved one that is lost, that has died. And so I would write out an intention that you would want to give the community, and remember, there's options to say people's names, but that's not necessarily necessary. You can explore how you would do it, okay? And now we have Mark. Let's see what you get.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Now, Mark, you got the close of the Amidah. So do you understand? So I would look at the Amidah. So it's
stand, right? Stand.
It's the stand. It means the standing prayer. So you're starting on page 104 to 107. These are some options of words to use to close the Amidah. But what it really is the opportunity to, how do you close a moment of silence?
Oh.
How do you bring people out of silence?
Perhaps with a sudden cello playing or something.
Well, we'll see what you come up with.
No, isn't that what we did? That's how we closed the moment. So
yeah, when we did our service together, we chose a cello.
Yeah, so actually with I don't know, there's probably many ways. So I will think about it.
Okay, great. And I think Helene, you're our last person. Oh no, there's Jackie after Helene. Okay, great. So Helene, let's spin for you.
My computer froze, so I had to come back.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're back. So Helene, you've received the Kiddush. I know you have the prayer book, so you're page 116 to 119.
Okay.
So that's the blessing over the wine or grape juice, right?
Yes.
So look at the prayer and explore how you might introduce that or do it or go about doing it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel? You feel okay, like you can tackle that?
When I'm looking at it, I see English.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said it was 116 to 119?
Yes.
Oh, I'm looking. Oh. So there's some Hebrew and then there's more English.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if there's Hebrew and English, read through the English and see what it's about, get the gist of it.
Okay.
What I explained, and you can look in the chat to see my instructions of how to look at it.
If I want to screenshot the chat after this is all over, tell me how to do it, because I tried to do it and it froze me out.
Do you have what kind of computer do you have? We can talk about this in a moment. We'll talk about it after when you
Do
want
it
to.
afterwards. Do it afterwards. Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
Great. Jackie, you're up. All right, Jackie, you got Lecha Dodi. This is so amazing that no one got doubles. So you're going to want to look at page 40 to 47 in your SIDDUR and decide how you would want to express this particular prayer. Okay, song of praise or whatever. Now I'm going to start the clock for.
Could you tell me the Amida 104? I'm not finding it. I'm having trouble finding the Amida. I guess I should look in the to the painting.
Are you really? Let's see. I said 104. Let's look for it.
Well, you might have said something else and I didn't remove it right.
All right, let me look for it. Now, if people are
Maybe 90?
want another one because they've already completed theirs and decided what they're going to do, let me know, because we're going to start our clock now. We have probably 7 more minutes left. I want to get to going through them, so. And tell me if you need more time too, so I'll start the timer. Okay, I'm finding it for you. Did you find it? I have 89 to 113.
Thank you.
All right, Alan, sorry, Alan, what?
Finish at 12 now, and I have to think of an attention to the morning fire.
Alan, I can't understand you. I'm sorry.
I meant to ask yesterday. Yes, definitely.
Oh, are you talking to us?
Baltimore world.
All right, I'm going to mute him. There we go. I don't think he's talking to us. Now, if you want another one again, ask me. I'm just going to say this. If you have a prayer that's before page 56 or 57, which is the Baruch Hu, it's part of the Kabbalat Shabbat service. And if you have something after the Baruch Hu, it's part of the Mariv service, after page 56 and 57.
So we could do either one? Or are we supposed to do
No, you're doing your assigned prayer.
Oh.
I'm saying if your prayer is after page 56 or 67,
Thank you.
it's part of the Mariv service. So you just know where to find it, where to locate it. So, all right. So I'm glad everyone had a little bit of a time to work on it. There are so many options about how we could work on it. We have 20 minutes left, so I would like to begin talking us through the structure of the service, okay? So you'll see on page 5 is where candle lighting is. Now, before you start candle lighting, I would open the space with a song or a blessing. The purpose of opening the space to begin a service is to gather people and to set an intention. So you could think about what kind of song you might want to that fills your intention that you had set for the service. I like to do that. So can anyone think of an intention that they would want to give for lighting the candles, just off the top of their head? Colleen, yeah.
I want to treasure each day.
Beautiful. So you would play I Want to Treasure, that song, Teach Us to Treasure Each Day. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
Okay. That's a great, great prayer too. And then how would you link it to lighting the Shabbat candles?
because the Kiddush, which happens to be my prayer,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a miracle I got it because it's everything I believe in.
Right.
It's like me. This Kiddush prayer is wonderful.
Great.
It says
So we'll get
everything
up
I
to that.
believe.
Okay,
Pardon?
great. So we'll get up to that. So now we're up to Shalom Aleichem on page 13. So let's open to it. Everyone, let's look at Shalom Aleichem. It's Shira's prayer. And Shira, I would love as you tell us about this prayer, as you present it. And there's no pressure, like we can all support you in it. But I'm wondering what you noticed about the prayer. Please tell us your process of what you noticed about the prayer and what you chose to do for the prayer.
Okay. I noticed, it's if you look direct at the direct translation, which we have a kind of abbreviated version in our SIDDUR, so I looked up what would be the English translation on my phone. I just Googled it, and there was a little bit more, but still, it's very traditional sounding, and with images that in the past, we've looked at very concretely, and I can see a great opportunity to consider what these symbols can mean. What could angels mean?
Yeah.
What could the Holy Blessed One mean? And I would love to get the ideas from the people. That's it's one thing to say, I think this or that, or this is how it hits me, but it's so valuable, more valuable probably to the people in the congregation to have the opportunity to share what they're thinking and feeling about
Great,
these things,
Shira.
or have the opportunity to.
So I'm gonna now say this is the moment. Okay, you're leading Shalom Aleichem. How would you do this where you elicit information from the community? How would you lead it in the moment?
See, this is something that when I first tried to lead Bible study or whatever, I was first approaching like, oh, I want to do it correctly, and I want to have the right answers, and I want to tell the people what the right answer,
Right.
And I slowly saw the role modeling, Jeff and others, who are so beautiful at just asking,
Right.
what could this mean? What do you think?
Yeah. So Shira,
What do you think
where
angels
your
did?
community, where your community that we so you would ask us. So ask us where your
That's right.
community.
Okay. So
You're leading us in prayer.
first I would say what the translation would mean. Welcome the angels. Welcome to the angels. Let me get this to say it, not just my own imagining what it means. Well, this is a beautiful thing. Peace be unto you, ministering angels. We are the instigators. We are the ones blessing these holy beings. Beings that come from the supreme King of Kings, source of all, ultimate authority or authenticity. Well, I'm telling what I think. I want to be able to learn how to open it up. I guess it's okay to kind of start the ball rolling and say, are there any other ideas or any ideas that any of you could share with me and the rest of us about what could angels, we're welcoming the angels of Shabbat. What does that mean?
Great. Does anyone want to answer in our community? What would you do if Shira asked this in a service?
The question is what could angels mean?
Yeah, what could the term angels of Shabbat? We're welcoming the angels of Shabbat. This is like a beginning in our Siddur. We sing this in the beginning of the service. In Jerusalem, we sing this at the table after service when we go to have Shabbat meal. We sing this together. But in any case, it's welcoming, and it's welcoming these angels in community. What is it? What do you think is going on with
I
this?
will,
I'm
I
so
will,
glad you asked.
oh, go ahead, Mark.
No, I just wanted to say I'm so glad you asked this question.
Cool.
Cool. We'll
Allie,
get
what were you going to say,
to
Miss
what were you
Allie?
gonna say?
I love the idea of angels being an energy body that carries just one thing and then like fuses with everything. So when you say angels of Shabbat, I just feel the energy, like the palpable energy of peace that can come in, the palpable energy of peace and like unite with us.
Beautiful, beautiful. Does anyone else have any ideas, thoughts, feelings, that come to them with the idea of welcoming the angels? And it's like, it's plural too. So more than one quality, if we go with that idea that each one would have their own special task or precious thing to share with us. But anybody else with any ideas, any idea, any feeling, any insights are beautiful and welcome. And I would love to hear any of it. Anybody else? Okay.
Don't be afraid.
Especially now. But this is good from, this is such great practice.
I don't know how we're going to get to everyone. I'm a little bit stressed about that. But I
Well-
wanted to say, Shira, no, I wanted
Somebody
to
else say something?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I have one.
Okay.
What are the messages from God?
Say it
What are
again.
What are the messages we're hearing from God?
So the angels, it says their source, they're coming directly from the source, the King of Kings, the Holy Blessed One. So these angels or energies or whatever we can imagine they are coming from within that source to us. So something is happening. I mean, if we are going with this imagery and we're, buying into this and opening ourselves up to this, it's like we are connecting to something that is really, I'm imagining. I want to ask you.
Hey,
Make
Shira,
sure
no,
I
this
don't
is
talk
great.
too much. Okay,
So
go
now
ahead.
I want to ask you.
Yeah.
So do you feel that this is the actual prayer? First of all, this is great. Do you feel that this is the actual prayer, that we're praying the prayer by you asking this question? Or would you use this as a kavanah? Would you use this as a beginning and then sing the song that we sing? Now that's an idea too. So what are you feeling about it? How would you express this?
Well, if I understand what you're meaning, a kavanah, I guess setting the intention is okay. I have some insecurity, and I don't know if it's insecurity. What is it? I don't want to overstep other people's precious experiences and their own kavanah. But I also want to be able to be a leader and a guide and say, this could be our kavanah. Maybe that's my role and that's what I should be doing. But I want to make sure I don't cross the line into.
Right.
I want people to really be inspired and free and comfortable to say and share with us what they're experiencing or what they feel or where they want to go with this.
Great.
But I would say, as for my kavanah, if that's the appropriate thing as the prayer leader, would be to connect with this, what could be very powerful energy.
Yeah.
Coming directly from the center of centers, the source of sources, and we're doing it in community. It's beautiful when I am in my, prayer time and I'm in my meditation time. That is beautiful. But there's something very exquisite about us doing this as community. And that's what I see this prayer as being, because we do it together, we sing it together.
Right.
And it's opening up a very vulnerable, open, beautiful, beautiful part of us with each other.
So first of all, I just want to say, be clear about Shira's question, that you don't have to have a kavanah for everything. Choose a few things that you want to highlight in the service and move through and see if that one kavanah can maybe carry you through a few prayers. Doesn't have to be every single one, okay? Nor should it. Now, so Shira, so you just did that. You had the discussion. Now what?
Well, the next thing is what state of mind does this prayer tap into? But that's already kind of
You've
covered
already
because
done that. Yeah.
yeah, openness, humility, the empowerment to bless.
I'm saying when you're leading it, like, are you going to now sing the song or is that done?
Oh yeah, we would sing the song, Shalom Aleichem, that
Gotcha.
version. I would love that.
All right. Thank you so much, Shira, for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's so amazing, Alice. Yes. I love that usually angels are said to be messengers, but Mark made them messages. So deep, beautiful. Okay, so I think we have time for one more person. Next up is Jackie. So there would be some Psalms, and then the end of the Kabbalat Shabbat service is Lecha Dodi, and you can turn to page 40 to 47 and find that. This prayer was was written by a 16th century Kabbalist in Sfad. Jackie, do you want to you can do an introduction, but also you could just go into how you would lead this.
Yeah. Well, I really like there's two things that strike me
Mhm.
today about this song and it's a love song.
Mhm.
And it continues from Yedid Nefesh, beloved of my soul, to the Song of Songs. And there's a sentence in one of the stanzas that says, well, one of the stanzas says, "O sovereign's abode, O holy regal town, rise up, emerge, where once cast down. Enough of sitting in the vale of tears. God pities you. Yes, you, God spares."
Mm.
And as we're coming to the end of our week, and we've encountered all kinds of experiences during the week, it's time to turn to God and make room for God and to allow all that has happened during the week to just rest for now. If we need to pick it back up, we can pick it back up after Shabbos is over. And God loves us and wants us to be filled with the love of God through the Shekhinah.
Mm.
So let's all turn to page 40 or 41 rather,
Mhm.
and sing Lecha Dodi.
And how would you experience the actual doing of Lecha Dodi? So that was your kavanah before.
Yeah, and so I would just start to sing it, and then everyone will go along with the tune or the nusach that I begin to sing. So Lecha Dodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala panei Shabbat nikabela.
So Jackie, I want to just ask you a question. So for that kavanah, for that intention, what do you feel that the listener who's going to be praying this with you got out of you offering that kavanah? How does it orient them to this prayer?
I think that people will be scanning
Mhm.
quickly the things that they actually faced as obstacles during the week, and or things that they felt very proud of themselves, but maybe took a lot of effort. And now they can just have a rest. So I think people are self-assessing their week.
Okay. So how would you give somebody something to do? How would you make it active for them?
So
You don't have to, but I'm just curious.
Well, I would say, take a minute and just think about how your week has been. Think
Hmm.
about the things that you've done, the things you've accomplished, challenges you faced, people that you spend time with,
Hmm.
how you're doing in your own practices. And let's think about it, recognize it, and then let's let all of it go
Mm.
for Shabbat. And we can come back to it if you can come back to it if you need to after Shabbat,
Mhm.
but just at least for 25 hours,
Mhm.
let's rest from all of it.
So how would you compare what Jackie first did to what she did after we talked about it a little bit more and did something active? Did it make you feel different? I'm just curious. Jackie, did you feel a difference between what you did the first time and the second time?
Um, Actually, I thought that I had done what I did the second time the first time, so I don't know
Okay.
if I was just thinking it and didn't say it, or if I did say it and I don't know.
Okay, great. Is there anyone who wants to reflect the experience to Jackie, whether the difference between her first time? Like I felt there was more explanation the first time, and the second time was more direct connection to the people that you were talking to. But I don't know if anyone else felt that. Did anyone else feel that? So the truth is that anybody who goes, even if you haven't been able to go today, which we obviously didn't get to everyone in an hour, hopefully you learned something from watching these two people, Shira and Jackie. Can you name one thing that you learned from experiencing Jackie just now?
I would just like to volunteer quickly that I heard something about assessing the week that had just passed.
Great.
I want to reflect that I felt more calm and peaceful in my body as Jackie, you sort of asserted it and like just told me the way it was directly. So
Mm.
maybe that's that I feel comfortable in your power and in your seat. And so when it was less of like a description and more just like letting me know, it was like there's a generosity of presence that was helpful to me.
Thank you.
Well, we have to end. Shira is going to be teaching her Hebrew class now at 7 o'clock. I would like to meet next week and finish the rest of the people. The rest of you and we can go through the service a little bit more slowly. And then you guys would get to present. How does that feel to everyone? Will everyone be able to be here same time, same place?
I won't be, but I would love to have a recording.
Okay.
This is great. Emily, thank you so much. It's daunting, but you're making it kind of, I don't know, bite-sized pieces. We can do this. I'm feeling that we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can make it next week, and sorry I was late coming back in, but I was figuring out the intention for the Mourner's Cottage.
Okay. So
Is,
you'll have a week to work on it,
I
Alan.
know, right, I know,
If
no,
you
I
have
mean,
any questions, you can
yeah,
always talk to me about it. So
I have
no
something
problem.
already, but I will look at it more.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Great.
This is great.
And
I think this was great, Emily.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad.
It
Thank you
was
so
great.
much for coming.
Can you explain to me how to copy this,
Yeah, sure.
Night,
please?
everybody.
good
Good
night,
night.
Jackie.
Jackie?
Right.
Oh, yes, Miss Emily, could you please, Rabbi Emily, could you please send us what you wrote in the chat?
Yes,
Because I don't know how to send it to
yes,
myself,
Yeah.
actually.
Do you want me to email all of you and just
Yes, that would be
and I'll
perfect.
send you the links as well as the instructions.
thank you.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yes, perfect.
Yep.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. See you next
Thank
week.
you.
Thank you for
Good job.
coming.
Bye.
Much
Okay.
love.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
I could be here the same time or another time, anytime. And I had no idea about the intentions. Believe it or not, the intentions that we can have, and then I mean that it's deep. Thank you.
Oh, good. What do you mean by intentions? Just
That
before
that-
the prayer.
that each piece of the service we can figure out the meaning to us, which I just did on the assignment, which I won't tell you now, and then think of something that is expressive for our own way of thinking, and it doesn't have to be right and what other people think. It's just our own, and other people will enjoy our expressing our own interpretation of each little piece.
Yeah. I agree. Bye. I can't wait
Bye.
to keep going. Bye, Alan.